Welcome to the Delta Dialogue. I'm Charlene Dukes, member of the extraordinary award-winning Prince George's County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I have the honor of talking with our charter members and past presidents. We will celebrate and reflect on 45 years of sisterhood, scholarship, and service under the 5-point programmatic thrust of our illustrious sorority. We continue to be anchored in service to our community. More than 30 committees and 900 chapter members provided in excess of 8,700 community service hours last year. This is truly phenomenal, considering that on March 31st, 1974, PGCAC was chartered by a small group of 23 dedicated and determined members of Delta Sigma Theta. Soror Grundy served as the very first president of PGCAC from its chartering in 1974 to 1976. Ethel Rogers Grundy, steadfast in her quest to bring a Delta chapter to Prince George's County, started the journey by inviting 50 local sorors to a meeting, and 7 attended. Joining us by telephone is Soror Ethel Rogers Grundy.
Makes me cry to still think about it. I invited 55 sorors, and 7 showed up. In the United States of America, chapters existed in every state and almost every city, but there was no chapter in Prince George's County. And we were one of the fastest growing counties in the community. I went down to the state house and I asked them how many women of color were living in Prince George's County. And when they gave me the numbers, I was just fascinated that many women lived in the county and we did not have a chapter. So then we began to work on starting a chapter in Prince George's County.
Well, thank you so much for that. You know, we're 45 years later, and you know that we are the largest chapter in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, all because of you and your vision. Tell us how you feel about that.
When I saw that we had 900 members today, and we are the largest chapter in the United States of Delta Sigma Theta, I said, oh, this is unbelievable. Who would believe back there 40 years ago that this could happen?
Thank you for joining us by telephone. We're so excited that you had that vision. Because of you, we are. Thank you so much.
Following the presidencies of Brenda Hughes and Shirley Rice, Hazel Lewis stepped into the chapter president role in 1978. The chapter membership doubled in size during Soror Lewis's presidency, and PGCAC chapter members served as volunteers during the general elections. Before we talk about your presidency, talk to us about what it was like to go to that first interest meeting about the chartering of the Prince George's County Alumni Chapter.
Well, that was an exciting experience. Soror Ethel Wooten Grundy was spearheading it, and it was exciting to me because we both had attended St. Aug University, and I penned her as a pyramid. And so I knew the dedication that she had and the love she had for Delta. So I was ready for anything she had to suggest. So we found it very exciting.
And I understand that meeting was at her home.
Yes.
And that some of you knew each other because you had attended St. Augustine University, and some of you were new, just meeting each other for the first time.
Yes.
And it's my understanding that 7 people stepped into her living room for that first meeting, and then there were 23 charter members.
Yes. Got your statistics.
Yes.
Yes, and all through her dedication, she was not going to have no as an answer. So
great. And then in 1978, you assumed the role of president of the chapter. So what was that like for you?
Well, it was a trying time. It was a growing time. 74, 78. We're still young. we're still growing, we're still trying, but we were determined. So that was the backbone of things, and that was the energy that kept us going, because we knew we were in a small environment as far as membership, but we realized that Prince George's County was growing very fast, especially for people of color, as well as the development of the county itself.
So that was a great
very
opportunity
yes,
to think
very-
about growing as a chapter.
Yes.
And certainly thinking about how you would serve Prince George's County. Is there anything particular that stands out for you relative to the service component of our chapter during your presidency?
The willingness of the sorors, because we were a small group, but we still had to pursue the program from national. So you had one person doing 7 jobs. So that was a very trying time, but a very exciting and very productive.
And to think, Soror Lewis, from 7 women in an interest group, 23 charter members, and now 45 years later, where at one point we've been over 1,100 members. Thank you so much for being a part of that vision and for your leadership.
Thank you.
During the general elections, the 5th chapter president, Donna Crocker Mason, served from 1980 to 1982, focused on the development of collaborations with other women-based organizations in the county. The chapter's connection with the Women's Action Coalition was established during your presidency. So Soror Crocker Mason, talk to us. Why was it important to collaborate with the Women's Action Coalition?
Well, I think what was so important was the women's movement was growing out of the International Women's Year, and which was a national and international initiative. And when they started soliciting people to be involved, there were no other African-American organizations involved with these women's organizations, which were business and professional women, the Democratic clubs, all of the political action organizations. So if we wanted to make the impact that we really wanted to in Prince George's County, we needed to collaborate, and we needed to become part of what was a growing movement in Prince George's County.
So just as a second question, did you approach the coalition or did the coalition approach you?
I went to one of the coalition meetings, and as if, we had nothing else to do, but we went to the coalition meeting, myself, and I don't even remember if anyone else went with me. And they were happy, welcoming. I knew some of the members from the other organizations. And they were ecstatic to have Delta interested, and we joined and started going to the meetings and participating in the women's fairs and some of the outreach and some of the and particular outreach to minority community.
So, and as always, Delta has certainly been in the lead. And Joanna Smith, you remained active with the chapter from the very beginning, serving as chapter president from 1982 to 1984. You have also chaired and have been a member of various committees for the past 45 years, and we really don't know where you get your energy. Under your leadership, the chapter grew from 80 members to 115 members. Your leadership was known for advancing the Reading as Fundamental program at William Paca Elementary School. Another notable activity is the participation of our chapter members in the March on the Mall in the District of Columbia. PGCAC marched under our national banner in 1983 in support of the 20th anniversary March for Jobs and Peace. What was the political climate, Soror Smith, during the time of that march?
Well, during the time of that march, the name of the march sort of indicated how we, as a race of people in particular, were faring. So our national body has always instructed us and suggested that we participate in anything that is serving us for, well, you might say political, because one of our thrusts is political action. So we have to make sure that we do participate, whatever it is. And several of us had not had the opportunity to march in 1963. So all I had to do was just suggest to my members that I want all of you to be down there on the mall when we go. And they were elated to do that. If you saw pictures of us, we had on our white shorts and our red tops and our banners. So it was really just to let everyone know, because we knew we were being televised, that Delta Sigma Theta was really in the forefront for anything, if it was political or otherwise.
Do you recall just how many members of PGCAC joined you that day?
I would imagine at least 75 to 80% of the numbers, and at that time we had over 100 members in the chapter.
That's awesome. You know, it's interesting to know and to hear, not just about our journey as a national organization of women committed to service in our community, but how that translates down to the local work that we do, because we know in many cases that the work of Delta Sigma Theta sorority is local, serving communities and uplifting communities.
That's true. That's true.
So we really want to thank you for letting us know what it was like from our early days of our chartering and where we are today, 45 years later, celebrating the fact that 7 women answered a call and 23 women chartered our chapter in 1974. And now in 2019, we're able to celebrate 45 years of service, scholarship, and sisterhood.
And if I could add, I was one of the 7.
That's right.
And that's absolutely phenomenal to know. And that's why we're here with you all celebrating today. Thank you.